everyone, my name is Dr. Harmony. I'm a twin flame expert helping twin flames around the globe face fears, find freedom, and glow forward on fire. Welcome to my weekly glow show. Today's topic is how to shift from purgatory to paradise. So I want to welcome you to the show today. It's a special show. We have Harmony in Motion today, and I'm in Washington D.C. and I'm coming to you from the stairs of the Exorcism movie. And so that's why I want to also thank a client of mine that's hosting me, and there were some things that her twin's higher self was always works with me, and so he's been bringing in these messages, and it has to do with just this topic. And so me being able to talk today about shifting from purgatory into paradise, I thought it would be a great time to bring the show here today in order to be able to teach you 3 ways that you can do just that. So let's first talk about when we go through the dark night of our soul. The dark night of our soul is basically the inferno. You know, we're in hell. It is painful. It is, deep, dark, and it sometimes more painful to stay stuck. To shift than it is to necessarily stay stuck. But when we don't shift and we sit there in the middle of that and we stay stuck, that's when we are in purgatory. We're not moving forward. We're feeling like we're going backwards. We're sitting in a space of not using our greatest potential. And so once we actually get into the space of awakening to the idea that we don't want to be in that space anymore, then we can start to shift out of that space. And that's where the Ascension Process comes from that inferno, the purgatory to paradise. So, these stairs kind of represent that Ascension Process. We're going from the pit of hell up to our highest elevation. And so it's our choice if we want to continue that journey of going up or down, or just like in the movie where the priest was knocked down the stairs. Sometimes in life we do get knocked down and we have to get back up, and we have to keep going. We have to keep putting one step in front of the other. And how do we continue to go forward in a place of feeling that when we get knocked down, that it basically gives us the idea that we're going backwards. But in all reality, we're not going backwards at all. It's taking that shift to force us to wake up to the higher consciousness so we can change, so that as we go forward, we go higher. And so, okay, so now we're going to talk to you about 3 ways for you to break out of purgatory, break out of being stuck, break out of not being able to shift forward. And one of the first ways is for you to be able to become silent to your inner trust, your inner truth. Listen. So surrender to the silence within yourself so that you can hear your inner voice, so that you can begin to trust that inner voice. Because in that process of, when we are in the hell or we're in purgatory, we have a lot of times so many external circumstances, so many external influences that block us from hearing and listening. So what I'm basically saying here is, when you feel like you're in purgatory, for you to take a step back and say, you know what? I don't have to make a choice today. I don't have to choose that, or, I don't have to necessarily decide that I'm going to even face a fear today. Maybe today I want to go back to bed and put the pillow over my head, and that is okay. And one of the things that I'm learning personally, and that I'm also seeing with clients, is that sometimes when it comes to our truth, and especially when it comes to our purpose and our mission, we feel like that we have to be perfect at it. Or we feel like that, say for instance, we're in one field that we feel like we got to become this spiritual person, that's this very enlightened person, this very enlightened being that has no past, or that is totally ascended, or going to stay there 100% of the time. And that's not necessarily the case. Maybe where we're at is exactly where we need to be. And maybe there's nothing wrong with being where we are to begin with. So instead of making a decision, make a decision not to make a decision. Make a decision to say, in the middle of this hell, my decision is not to make a decision. So to be still. And when we do that, we can listen to our own heart. We can listen to our own intuition. And then that will help lead us towards our truth, which is again teaching us the patience, the tolerance, the trust, and the timing, so that we can hear our inner soul's imprint of what we're supposed to do. So in the second one here of a way to break out of purgatory would be to, I just want to think, I had 3 things that I wanted to talk about, and a couple of them piggyback, and I also have something to share with you at the end. So I just want to make sure I remember here, because I was changing them around. They kept coming in and out. So, okay, so here's the second one, is coming into alignment with the idea and the concept that you can, when it comes to alignment, I should say, accepting the idea that there is no expiration date. There's not, we don't have to put the timeline on ourselves. We don't have to say that we have to achieve this space in our ascension process at a certain given date or time. Taking that basically timeline off of us and saying that where I'm at right now is okay. That creates self-acceptance. That creates acceptance of the journey. That says that, you know, that I accept myself. That says I can be instead of do. And what we tend to do in this process is we tend to come up with the idea that maybe once we identify, which is 75% of the awakening process here, once we identify that we come to an awakening and that we need to make change and we're okay with change, then we take back control and we decide, okay, now that I know, I'm gonna make this happen. And what do I gotta do? A, B, C, D, 1, 2, 3, and no, we don't have to even like necessarily put a timeline on us taking control of letting go of control. So it's like we come into a place that we've identified we need to let go of control. At the same token, then we try to micromanage how we're going to let go of the control. Tell me the steps to do, tell me what I need to do, and now I will go do that, right? And I'm telling you, let go and know there is no timeline on that. To be able to surrender to the idea that coming into alignment is being here, right now, at this given moment, and that will help you shift yourself going forward so you can stop being stuck and you get out of purgatory, which is going to help you to begin to align with paradise. So let's just, while we're talking about that for 1 second, talk about paradise. You know, we get to the top of these stairs in paradise. Paradise is the elevation of our soul's imprint of our destiny, and reaching that fullest potential of ourselves from the higher self and the higher ascension process. That's really about becoming open to receive. And that means to be open to receive, we actually have to let go of this resistance enough. We have to stop living in purgatory so we can align in the vortex of our possibility, which means it raises our vibration. So as we release our past, we raise our vibration and reclaim that our new life from a higher state of being. We're really in that process, we're finding ourselves, but then we're now recreating ourselves, and that is allowing us to connect with the blessings. Things start coming on the vibration, because as our vibration goes up, we tap into the higher states of elevation. We go higher up the steps, and in those channels, we begin to have less interference that then attracts towards us everything that we need for our journey. So in that aspect, let's talk about that for a second. What is our journey? The goal is to know that we do get to choose if we're going down the steps, up the steps, right, left, you know, when we want to do it. We don't have to, this is no race. This is enjoying the journey, it's living in the now. But in order for us to do that, we need to come into the alignment and the acceptance that wherever we're at in that space, that it's all perfect, that it's all right, and it's all part of the plan, and that we can enjoy that space so we can stop resisting the concept and the idea of it being wrong, or that we're wrong, or that we're going backwards. And that's really just surrendering to the alignment of where we're at any given moment. So number 3 is take this journey one step at a time. One step at a time. And you know, we'll just show you here these steps. These are a lot of steps going from the pit of hell all the way up to paradise at the top of the steps. And you know, basically, you know, that's one of the things that when I work with clients and patients for over 20 years is they will tell me, like, I know I'm not happy and I don't want to be where I'm at. At the pit of that hell, down at the bottom of that stuff, but I don't know how to get to the top. And what we have to realize that there's a divine intelligence inside of us that knows the story, knows our story. And all we have to do is blindly take a step at a time. And then not beat ourselves up if we slip down and go back down a step. Because the goal is that we're going to continue to take it one step up at a time. And then one of the things I want to share with you, I opened up a book. Well, first of all, I want to tell you something else. So a client of mine that's hosting me, she had went to this little library house and she saw a book by Wayne Dyer there, and it had to do with being in harmony and balance. And I said, oh, that's exactly where I'm at in my life right now, complete balance right now. And, coming into perfect harmonic balance, meaning, we got to have the bad with the good, and some of the bad that I tried to cut out, maybe I didn't have to even cut it out. And I was trying to get rid of something that was a part of me I didn't even need to get rid of. So I was telling her, about that. And then I said, we were outside, and I said, oh, I'm going to go get that book. Well, when I went to go get the book, it was gone, but there was two other books that really caught my attention. One was The Mist of Avalon, which on the front cover had a swan, which if you followed me through my Twin Flame Codebreaker book, you will understand what the majestic swan means to me, which, by the way, please make sure to check out the link below for the majestic swan. Get registered for that majestic swan ring, and as well as the I'm Coming Out challenge, meaning that you are no longer afraid to be who you are, that you can step out and face your fears and not worry about what people think. So if you go over to my Facebook page, you will find that I have different posts there, and if you will do a hashtag I'm Coming Out, you will get registered for a ring that I'm giving weekly. And I'm doing Facebook live streams now, so you can be able to tune in over there for additional information. So, but anyway, when I got this book, Champ's middle name is Avalon, so I immediately saw this swan on a white horse in the midst of Avalon, and I knew there was a message in that for me. But sitting in front of it, what caught my attention first was a book called let me see, I had to write this down because I got a quote that I wanted to share with you that's so beautiful. It says, The Mark of the Warrior, and it's by Paul Scott is the author. And so that caught my attention because, when we are going through this ascension process and we're going from purgatory to paradise, we are wounded warriors. We've been through a lot, and it's about like moving beyond the pain of our past, so that we no longer, we can basically release our demons, And so, with that being said, that we are many facets in us, So when we think about the exorcism and we think about the concept of being possessed, well, we have many facets to us from multiple lives. They can be our demons if we don't know how to identify them and release them. So when, I think about that, I look at that and be like, how do you show up every day? How do you want to show up every day? What face do you want to put on? Let's start thinking about moving beyond the illusion of like our past self, our old ways, our old patterns, and align more into full alignment of our truth. Who we are, being raw, real, going through life naked, and being able to express ourselves, express our truth without the fear of what other people think. That is being able to also go up this ascension step, get out of purgatory, align with paradise, so we can become the best version of who we are and who we came here to be. But anyway, in this book, when I opened it up, The Mark of the Warrior, there was 3 things to consider on the first page that it talked about. It said a man's estimate of himself, the face he presents to the world, and the estimate that a man makes by other men. And when you combine these 3, it can then become an aspect of truth. And it is so true. So when you look at that, it's like, how do you view yourself? A man's estimate of himself. What do you think of yourself? What you think about you is what you are. Your image of who you are is basically what you project. Therefore, you get the reflection, you get the experience you need that might knock you back down a few steps, but it's because maybe you're not willing to change anyway because you're stuck in purgatory and you're not doing what it takes to climb on up the stairs, but you need some experience to come along and shift you, which makes it feel like you're falling down, but really in all reality it's just forcing you to let go of what you need to do so that you can find the better version of yourself. And then on that second one where it says the face he presents to the world, so like I was saying a while ago, when you get up every day, what face are you putting on? Who are you? Are you being a false? Are you creating like a false representation of who you are because you're hiding who you are and you're afraid of what people are going to think? Or are you going to show up in this world in alignment with your truth, in alignment with all that you came here to do, be, and have? And I got to tell you, I just came from New York City with the most phenomenal experience in my entire life, where my book was being showcased at the New York City, the Book Expo America, and the BookCon 2018. And the blessings and the showers of blessings that was just raining and pouring on me in every area of my life, I can't even begin to tell you like what that felt like, but it showed me I had climbed to the top of these stairs. But it also showed me that that doesn't mean that I might not ever take a few steps back in life. It's going to happen. We're human. You're not going to stay up all the time. Accept all sides yourself and know that if you come back down a few steps, that it's okay. Be okay with it. And then the other thing in this, the third thing I just want to elaborate on. So when it says that the estimate of men made by that you make by other men. So in all reality, that's the projection I'm talking about. And that's also the perception. And that's also what the saying is be willing to see your reflection in all the experiences that show up for you so that you can, at the end of the day, the goal is and this make the mark of the warrior is to be able to leave your mark. To be able to leave a legacy of what it is you came here to do, be, and have. And you can't do it at the bottom of the steps. You can only do it in the process. You know, this is a process. Unless, you know, you are a genie, you can't start at the bottom of that steps there and jump to the top of this whole entire pathway to get up there. You got to take it one step at a time. One foot in front of the other. And just try to enjoy the process and get out of your head and be okay with where you're at and which step you're at in the journey, because it's all perfect. So, with that being said, I want to thank you for tuning in today. And I send you loads of love, many blessings, and may you always face your fears, find freedom, and glow forward on fire. Namaste.